What's going on, everyone? Let's get the audio going here. Make sure you all can hear the recap. Cool. Audio should be up and rolling. All right, so Dr. Todd from MoveNow. I'm gonna flip the camera around so you can see everything straight. Hey, Brandy Hunter, can you tell me, does the audio sound okay? Give me some feedback, Brandy. Audio sound okay? She's probably driving in her car right now, listening to this, having to pull over to let me know. Let me know if the audio sounds all right. I'm even gonna flip this around. I'm gonna check in so you can tell me if the audio is good before we get rolling. Okay, so give me some feedback, Brandy Hunter. Brandy Hunter is our office manager over at Gonson Spine and Wellness. And I have a recap over here, Impact Recap February 2020. So this last weekend, we had a bunch of doctors, a bunch of their staff, we had my team, and we had a couple of special guests that helped make this event even that much cooler. And what is the Impact event? The Impact event is an event that we do for all of our MoveNow chiropractors, all of our members of this program, of how we teach you how to put functional movement, corrective exercise into a chiropractic practice. But it's a lot more than that. It's not just how do you put this one thing in, it's how do you make everything run smoother? How do you have better systems? How do you engage your patients? How do you improve retention? How do you have more fun as a chiropractor because you're doing more for your patients, you're getting better results, and just using the best technology as well to leverage your time. Okay, so those are all things that we teach. I'm gonna check in, see if Brandy got back to me on the audio yet. She still has not. All right, well, I'm hoping you can hear me, Brandy, and everyone else out there. Okay, so let's just go through a couple little gems that we did, things that I was thinking about after we finished the 2-day event. If you haven't been out to one of these yet, you have to come out. So if you're a member of MoveNow University, the next one's going to be in May of this year. The date will be announced very soon inside of our members, our MoveNow Chiropractor members group. If you can go in there, there's a poll I put up there, vote on what date works best for you. I'm waiting for a couple more votes to come in before we solidify the date. I already have a pretty good idea of what the date's gonna be, but I wanna get your feedback. So what this is a in-person immersive event for all of our MoveNow chiropractors and their team, so they can see how this thing runs in our clinic, our flagship clinic, Gonstead Spine and Wellness in Meridian, Idaho. So everyone flies in, or they drive in, depending on where you live, to Meridian, Idaho, which is right outside of Boise, and you hang out with us all day Friday and all day Saturday, and we train all day long, and we go through the meat and potatoes from day 1 through day 5. Now, there's a couple things we did a little different at this event, and what we did at this event is a good friend of mine, Dr. Fred DiDomenico from Elite Coaching, who I met back in 2012. I personally did coaching with him, learned a ton about human communication. There's many systems that carried over that he taught that we used in our clinic, and then we refined for our unique system using functional movement. So Fred is a guy that I've remained friends with over the years, and he has now come on board to start helping at these events and start injecting different pieces into the day 1 through day 5 process, because there's so much synergy between what we do and what he does. And then Dr. Barnhill from Fearless Chiropractor, he's a guy that I met a couple years back, and he has a whole bunch of certifications as far as compliance and coding and auditing and all of these different things, and he works exclusively for chiropractors. He is a chiropractor, just recently got out of full-time practice so he could help all these clinics full-time. He helps our clinic. He's someone that we use personally. He came out, spoke at our event, shared some really awesome pieces that we will take some pieces out of the footage from Dr. Barnhill and Dr. Fred, and we'll post that up real soon. We're having all that edited right now. We have about 16 hours, 18 hours of footage to go through. But what I wanted to do was share some of the takeaways, some of the things that you could write down and say, oh man, I'm gonna use that. Dr. Fred is full of those. Dr. Fred is full of these one-liners, and it's not that it's just a one-liner and something to say, but it's understanding human communication after you've set a precedence and you've taken your patients through a process, and you are then communicating in such a way where they say, for the first time, someone actually understands me. How do you do that? You actually care. Okay, so first off, you actually care. That's the spoiler alert, is that you actually care. It's genuine. But how do you do that in such a way where you really give people what they ultimately want, which is to be healthy for a lifetime? They come in for low back pain, and you flip the script on them and turn it all around so that they can come to the realization, the understanding that your spine is the center for health and vitality and strength in your body. And if your spine is weak, your body breaks down into sickness and disease. So how do we fix the spine? That's where we have our unique methods that we all do as chiropractors, but what we teach as this universal thing that pulls us all together is speaking the language of movement, functional movement. Okay, so segment, posture, movement is the model that we teach. The movement thing is non-negotiable. That's what pulls us all together. That's what we base all of these systems off of, is measuring and correcting movement with your patients. So Dr. Fred loves that idea as well, and so he's come on board, watched how we go through our day 1 through 5 process. He's actually flying out to our clinic in a few weeks to go through again the day 1 through day 5 in extreme detail, so that we can figure out exactly where he can take his wisdom and knowledge in human communication and fit that in for different people in the team. So it's not just for the doctor, it's for the exercise therapist. When your patient goes back to go through a movement assessment, how does your exercise therapist communicate with them? How do they relate that back to the individual to strengthen their conviction so that they are all in on wanting to make this transformation? Not just for 12 weeks, but for how long? For a lifetime. So lifetime transformation. All right. So a couple things that I wrote down thinking about this. I'm going to check real quick, see who's on here. Okay, cool. So a couple things that he talked about, a couple little one-liners, was speaking to a patient. And these are things that when he said it, I thought about it, and I've repeated since then because I think it's powerful. If a patient says something to the extent of, well, how long is this going to take, or how long do I have to do this, or whatever, and after you've taught them all the specifics about it, a powerful question is, how long are you committed to a strong and healthy life? How long are you committed to a strong and healthy body? Just a very quick, concise, how long are you committed to a strong and healthy body? Forever. For the rest of my life. Okay. So how often or how long do you think you should be doing your home care? How often or how long should you be getting your spine checked? Yeah, for the rest of your life, right? And then another thing that Dr. Fred kept saying is that every person has the ability to make a must decision right now, just like that. He uses the example of whenever someone makes a must decision, there's usually something dramatic that happens right before that, right? So someone's struggling with alcohol or drug abuse, and it's that final straw, you know, they've lost everything and they've hit rock bottom, and then that's the catalyst that says, I must make a change right now, and then they make a change. Someone's struggling with weight gain or something, and they're looking in the mirror and they're finally saying, okay, this last pair of pants that I have don't fit anymore, that's it, I'm making a change right now. And so how do you get your patients to be able to see that committing to what you have to offer with everything that you've learned as a chiropractor and coming into the MoveNow system and having the best clinical care to measure and address movement patterns that reinforce everything we do as chiropractors, how do you get that across to your patients so they see that not as a should, but as a must? Dr. Fred went through that at every piece he could inject, and it was priceless. It was awesome. So much so, I'm flying him out in a couple weeks, and I said, will you come out for a day? I'll shut my clinic down. We'll get all my staff here. We're going to go through the day 1 through day 5, because I know there's these little gems that you can help us with that'll make it that much more impactful. Now, side note, we're very successful with these systems. But the thing that I want to make even more successful is when someone comes in and they start their care, they should immediately say, I need my husband in here, I need my wife in here, I need my kids checked, I need this, I need that. That's something we get periodically. I want to improve that more. After 12 weeks of care, someone goes through the 12-week transformation. We have a very high compliance rate with that. The vast majority of our patients gravitate towards that. They go through it. After the 12 weeks, certain percentage of them fall off, okay? Just to be totally transparent. I mean, I wish 100% of them really got it, stuck with it, continued at a decreased frequency, but maintained that whole drive towards lifetime. Some of them fall off. Why is it? Because we didn't make that connection with them, okay? So those are the things that we're trying to refine on our end. And then how does this benefit all of our MoveNow doctors? Is that they can start with the highest level of communication to begin with, which, truth be told, it's something that I've studied for years, and I was introduced to it from Dr. Fred. So it's stuff that comes out in my interaction with my patients all the time because it's naturally who I've become. Okay, so next thing, Dr. Perry Barnhill. Let's check in over here. All right, Doctor, and then also guys who's watching this, if you can just give me some feedback, just let me know the audio sounds okay. I'm on a wireless mic here. Want to make sure that you're hearing me loud and clear. So if you can just put in the comment section, we can hear you, sounds great, or it sounds horrible, you better stop right now. Something like that, just so I know that the audio is good here. So I'm jumping back to see if you can give me some feedback. So please just go ahead and type in there how it sounds. I'll check in just a second. Dr. Perry Barnhill is founder of a group called Fearless Chiropractor, okay? And Fearless Chiropractor, he works with a ton of chiropractors. He works with a ton of the doctors who also work with us in making sure that they're doing things compliant. And if they're getting threatened by the insurance companies or by someone, he can come in and see what's going on and help calm your fears and show you what you should do strategically to address that. More importantly, help set you up so that you don't have to live in fear because you know you're doing everything by the book. He and I have started working together a few years ago because he reached out to me after he listened to one of my podcasts where we were talking about different advice that we were giving to chiropractors. He sent me an email and he said, hey doc, I've heard a lot of people give advice and this and that, and yours is solid, and I really appreciate you giving honest, transparent advice to these doctors out there. He and I started talking, I had him on our podcast, and then he got exposed to our systems, and he's a big fan of what we do because he knows that it's compliant, it's patient-centered, it's defendable, and it's just ethically correct, all right? So Dr. Perry Barnhill talked about having confidence because you're prepared in your documentation, your billing, having stuff set up for HIPAA compliance. HIPAA people don't mess around, so for all those out there that don't have anything set up with that, reach out to Dr. Perry Barnhill, Fearless Chiropractor. You can just message him on Facebook, and he can tell you a little bit more about how he could possibly help your clinic out. It's not optional nowadays. I'm not saying that to be fear-mongering, especially when it's Fearless Chiropractor, but you gotta make sure that you CYA, which means cover your tuchus. Okay? All right. And then we had our team. We had Brandy, who's our office manager, David, who's our main exercise therapist, Anabolic Andrew, that worked with us in the past, that helped us develop out a couple things inside of MoveNow. He drove 4 hours out to help us out as well. He's in physical therapy school right now. Dr. Todd, that's me. And we went through and covered the day 1 through day 5 process. So I figured I would give you a couple of the little key points of day 1 through day 5. So what is day 1? Day 1 is new patient. All right, so new patient comes in on day 1. I'm gonna adjust this camera a little bit just to make sure you can see this nice and clearly. All right, there we go. Cool. All right, so day 1 is new patient, and we do a pre-consult. So it's a pre-consult. That's setting the stage, explaining to the patient, here's what we're gonna do today. Here's what we're all about. All right, and get them away from pain and into function, into lifestyle. So pre-consult, then we do a consult. So we get all of their different issues that are going on, not just their low back pain they came in with, but really do a comprehensive job of going through the list of everything and then being able to reframe and help them understand why their body is breaking down if they have multiple things going on that maybe they have tried to minimize. Us humans are great at trying to minimize all of our problems and say there's nothing wrong when there's definitely stuff wrong. So pointing that out, getting people to admit to it, getting them to acknowledge it, and then find out how they feel about it and what they want to do about it, and get them geared towards lifestyle, and it's time to change, and making, like I said, a must decision right from the get-go before you've even done an exam. Then going in, doing an exam, reinforcing everything that you found here, and then gathering x-ray and analyzing all that and getting that prepared for the next visit. Next visit we call our BROF, brief report of findings. So in our system, how we do it, patient comes in, they actually go through a brief video that saves some of the time that we as doctors are reciting every visit, as far as on the what, the how, and the why of what we're going to go through on their x-rays that day. And then they come in and then talk with us, and we take them through the process. We explain what's going on, but we relate it back to this, and then we get them to start thinking big time and actually make a decision, A or B, and they have this option, and we pre-frame this ahead of time, and we actually run towards the fire, which is what one of my original mentors said, is always run towards the fire. We run towards the fire of the two top objections that people may have, which is time and money, and we address those, we talk through those, we handle the objections on day 2. They then go on, they do their movement assessment, which is called a MoveNow 3. All right, now we have everything that we need to build the recommendations. We build the recommendations on what's called a rec card, and then we prepare for day 3, which is where we do the FROF, which is the formal report of findings, the financial report of findings. This now, it does not feel like a sales process, because we've already handled any sort of objections here, and we have a higher purpose as far as why they're going through care anyway, because everything has been geared towards lifestyle and not, hey doc, can you crack my back for my low back pain? So we do a FROF. Before the FROF, we do what's called a PIV, which is a patient interactive video. So they go through and they watch a sequence of videos. This is something that we do in lieu of like a doctor's report, like a group doctor's report. We have a video sequence. It's a handful of short videos that they can click through, and it's built on these special pages we built inside of ClickFunnels. And this is a whole thing that we share with all of our members as well, so they can customize it if they want to. But they're videos that we filmed that pretty much work for any clinic who's doing our MoveNow system, and it teaches segment, posture, and movement, and really pre-frames and reinforces a lot of the how and the why of what we do, right? And they watch this, and it takes 15 to 20 minutes, and then they do that before the doctor comes in, presents everything. So now the doctor comes in, presents all the financial, goes through that, gets the patient to commit. And it's basically just relaying back to what you already talked to on day 2, and it's just giving them details, right? Okay, because on day 2, you've already talked about time and money, so they already have an idea. So right here, it's saying, hey, yesterday we went through this and this. You told me that you're on board. Has anything changed? No. Okay, great. And then you go through it. So now they give you permission to go through this whole process. So you go through it. That's day 3. Most comfortable day 3 ever. Patient then starts their care. So this is the first day of corrective care, exercise orientation. Exercise orientation. Can you see what I'm writing? Probably not, but at least I'm speaking it out so you can hear what I'm writing here by hand. So exercise orientation and home care. This is where they get introduced to home care, and 12-week transformation onboarding. That's our online membership site that they get access to. A lot of stuff happens on day 4. This is where we're setting them up for success. Day 5, now they come in, they might have some questions of what we went over. Great, we're going to address it. And then day 5 is where we're going to do what's called clinic objectives, which sets them up for success. We handle things like missed and making up missed appointments. And we talk about things like our community events. We talk about things like ways to refer. So basically ways to spread this message that they have so they don't keep it to themselves. These are some of the things that with Dr. Fred's help, we're going to tune up a little bit even more. And then also goals. We made some changes in how we do our goals visit immediately when I met with Dr. Fred several weeks ago, because he flew out several weeks ago, and we built a bunch of content inside of MoveNow University, which I'll have to put a link in this after I get back on so you can see how to get access to that, because there's a whole section inside of MoveNow University called Elite Coaching that you can get access to, and includes a bunch of cool stuff that Dr. Fred and I put together, and we're going to continue doing on an ongoing basis. So this is what we covered this weekend in detail. And I know a lot of you doctors that are part of the group that haven't been out here yet, you need to come out to this. You're going to benefit a ton. I know there's a lot of doctors who followed our stuff, who've been on the fence with this process to begin with. It's time to pull the trigger, okay? It's getting bigger and better than it's ever been. This is the best time to jump into it. And then there's other people out there that other doctors never even heard of us at all. This might be the first time that you're hearing something. Check out our demo if you haven't already. That's how you can get more information. You can see what this is all about. You go to demo.movenowu.com and you can watch a 30-minute pre-recorded demo that shows how the MoveNow University system is all set up, okay? It's a 12-week implementation process as far as getting this going in your clinic. We have a very structured process to do this, where you print out booklets for your team, you go through a weekly training, and in 12 weeks, you have all the different pieces at least touched on, and then you continue to refine and refine as it's implemented. And we have ongoing support. We have lots of stuff that we're doing so that we can ensure that you're successful in this process. Let me jump around and see where we're at here. Okay, cool. So that's it. Wanted to cover the Impact Recap, February 2020. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to me on Facebook Messenger. Go to our website, movenowu.com. You can find our contact info there. We hope to see you at the May event. We'll announce the date soon. Watch the demo if you haven't already. Reach out if you have any questions. And with that said, over and out. Have an awesome day.